There is a structure on Earth older than farming itself, older than the wheel, older than writing, older than pottery, older than the pyramids by 6,000 years. And it was built by people history books call primitive hunter-gatherers. 600 miles away in the mountains of Lebanon, 3 stone blocks sit stacked on top of each other. Each one weighs more than a fully loaded Boeing 747. No crane on Earth built before the 20th century could lift them. And yet they were lifted. In India, an entire temple, walls, pillars, roofs, staircases, was never built at all. It was carved downward out of a single mountain. In Rome, a dome poured without a single piece of steel has survived 2,000 years of earthquakes, fires, and floods, while modern concrete buildings crumble in 50. Today, we're going to look at 6 structures that shouldn't exist, not because they're old, because they're too advanced to be old. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some archaeologists have stopped asking how did they build this, and started asking a much more uncomfortable question: what did they know that we've forgotten? Let's start with the site that broke the entire timeline of human civilization, Göbekli Tepe. In 1994, a German archaeologist named Klaus Schmidt walked up a bare hill in southeastern Türkiye that local farmers had been plowing around for decades. They kept hitting large stones with their equipment and simply avoided that patch of the field. Nobody had bothered to dig. What Schmidt found underneath rewrote the opening chapter of human history. Massive T-shaped limestone pillars, some standing over 5 meters tall and weighing up to 10 tons, arranged in circles. Carved into them, foxes, boars, vultures, snakes, scorpions, intricate relief carvings, not crude scratches. Radiocarbon dating placed the site at roughly 9,600 BC. That is over 11,000 years old. Stonehenge is a teenager by comparison. The Great Pyramid wouldn't exist for another 7,000 years. Here's the part that unsettled historians. Göbekli Tepe was built before agriculture, before permanent settlements, before pottery, before the wheel, before metal tools of any kind. The accepted model of civilization has always been simple. Humans farm first, form villages, and only once they have surplus food and free time do they build monuments and temples. Göbekli Tepe flips that order completely. Analysis of the surrounding soil shows no evidence of domesticated crops or livestock at the time of construction. These were still hunter-gatherer bands, moving with the seasons. Yet somehow they organized enough manpower to quarry, carve, transport, and erect stone pillars weighing as much as a delivery truck, without a single wheel, without draft animals, without metal chisels. Some researchers now argue it may have been the temple that came first, and agriculture followed, that people settled down not to grow food, but to keep building and gathering at this sacred hill. And farming was invented almost by accident, just to feed the workers. And then, around 8,200 BC, something even stranger happened. The builders didn't abandon the site. They buried it, deliberately, carefully filling the entire complex with rubble and soil, as if they were sealing something away on purpose. Why would anyone bury a temple they spent generations building? That question still doesn't have an answer. The Trilithon of Baalbek. If Göbekli Tepe breaks the timeline of when, Baalbek breaks the laws of how. In the Bekaa Valley of Lebanon sits the Temple of Jupiter, built on a Roman-era platform. Beneath that temple are 3 stone blocks known as the Trilithon. Each one is roughly 20 meters long and weighs close to 800 tons. To put that in perspective, that's the weight of 2 fully loaded Boeing 747 aircraft, stacked as a single solid piece of stone, lifted 7 meters into the air, and set down with millimeter precision with no gap for mortar. Modern cranes can lift that much weight today, but they're rare, purpose-built machines that require months of ground preparation. The official explanation is that Roman engineers used wooden rollers and thousands of laborers pulling in unison. The math doesn't hold up. Moving an 800-ton block on rollers requires a pulling force equivalent to roughly 40,000 people hauling at once. There isn't physical space around the site for 40,000 people and their ropes to stand, let alone coordinate a pull without crushing each other. It gets heavier. In the quarry just half a kilometer away, a block known as the Stone of the Pregnant Woman still sits half-carved. It weighs an estimated 1,000 tons. In 2014, a German archaeological team uncovered a fourth block nearby, even bigger, estimated weight over 1,650 tons. It is, as far as we know, the heaviest cut stone block on the planet. Nobody knows why the largest blocks were left in the quarry instead of being moved. Nobody has successfully recreated the transport of even the smaller 800-ton blocks using only ancient-era tools. Local legend in Lebanon has a name for the platform. They call it the work of jinn, spirits with power no human could match. The historians aren't superstitious, but even they admit this is one of the very few places in archaeology where the honest answer is simply, we don't know how this was done. Kailasa Temple, Ellora now. Picture a temple with no bricks, no blocks stacked one on top of another, no foundation dug and built up from the ground. The Kailasa Temple in Ellora, central India, was not constructed. It was subtracted. 8th century workers picked a solid basalt cliffside and began removing rock from the top downward until an entire multi-story temple complex emerged from what used to be solid mountain. Courtyards, pillared halls, bridges, life-sized carved elephants, a shrine over 30 meters tall, all of it is one continuous piece of stone. Not assembled, carved. Engineers estimate over 200,000 tons of solid rock had to be removed to create it. And here is what makes it almost impossible to plan. There is no room for error. If you're stacking stone blocks and you make a mistake, you can remove the block and try again. If you're carving a temple downward out of a mountain and you cut too deep, that stone is gone forever. An entire wall, a column, a doorway, one wrong strike, and the whole structure could be compromised, with no way to add material back. That means the builders had to hold the complete three-dimensional blueprint of the finished temple in their minds before removing a single ounce of rock. Halls, pillars, staircases, sculpture, and executed in reverse, from the outside surface inward, with hand tools over generations, without a single catastrophic miscalculation across the entire structure. Modern structural engineers who've studied Kailasa describe the planning problem as being closer to sculpting a finished cathedral out of a single block of marble, except the marble is a mountain and there's no scaffolding, no CAD software, and no room to undo a mistake. If a project like this shocked you this much, stay with me, because the next three structures are, in some ways, even harder to explain. If this is the kind of history you love, hit subscribe now, because we're about to go somewhere even stranger.
The Great Pyramid of Giza. Everyone knows the Great Pyramid. Almost nobody knows how strange it actually is up close. Built around 2560 BC for the pharaoh Khufu, it was the tallest human-made structure on the planet for roughly 3,800 years. A record unbroken until the construction of Lincoln Cathedral in the 14th century. It contains over 2.3 million stone blocks. Average weight, 2.5 tons each. Some interior blocks weigh far more. The granite slabs above the king's chamber weigh up to 80 tons and were somehow hauled from a quarry nearly 800 kilometers away in Aswan. Here's the number that stops engineers cold. To finish the pyramid within Khufu's estimated 20 to 23-year reign, workers would have needed to set one stone block in place roughly every 2 minutes, day and night, for over 2 decades, without modern lifting equipment. And the precision is almost absurd for the era. The base of the pyramid is level to within about 2 centimeters across a footprint of over 5 hectares. The 4 sides are oriented to true north, with an error of roughly 1/20th of 1 degree. More accurate than many buildings constructed in the 20th century. The official explanation involves ramps, sledges, wetted sand to reduce friction, and a rotating labor force of skilled workers, not slaves, as we now know from workers' villages excavated nearby, complete with bakeries, breweries, and medical care for injuries. That explains manpower. It still doesn't fully explain the astronomical alignment, the internal ventilation shafts angled toward specific stars, or how blocks weighing tens of tons were raised over 140 meters, with the tools we found at the site. Egyptologists have working theories for almost every individual piece of the puzzle. What nobody has done is combine those theories into a single, tested, full-scale reconstruction of the entire process. Until someone does, the Great Pyramid remains the most studied and least fully explained structure on Earth. The Pantheon. In the heart of Rome stands a building whose engineering trick took modern science until 2023 to fully understand. The Pantheon was built around 125 AD under Emperor Hadrian. Its dome is 43.3 meters in diameter. Still, to this day, the largest unreinforced concrete dome ever built. Not the largest in the ancient world. The largest in the world, full stop, 19 centuries later. St. Peter's Basilica, built the 1500 years afterward, has a smaller dome and needed iron chains wrapped around it just to keep it from splitting apart. The Romans used no chains, no reinforcement at all. Their trick: the concrete mix changes as the dome rises. Near the base, it's mixed with heavy travertine and basalt. Near the top, they switch to pumice, volcanic rock roughly 1/3 the weight of ordinary stone, so the structure gets progressively lighter the higher it goes. Chand Baori stepwell. Our last stop takes us underground, literally, to a village in Rajasthan, India, and one of the strangest structures ever built for something as simple as reaching water. Chand Baori descends 13 stories below ground level, lined with an estimated 3,500 steps arranged in a perfectly symmetrical, interlocking geometric pattern. Seen from above, it looks less like 9th century stonework and more like a rendered 3D model. A repeating optical pattern that seems to shift and fold as your eye moves across it. It was commissioned somewhere between 800 and 900 AD by King Chanda of the Nikumba dynasty. The official reason for its existence is simple. Rajasthan's climate is brutally dry, and reaching a stable water table required going deep. But that raises an obvious question. If the only goal was water access, a straight shaft with a rope and bucket would have worked fine. Nobody needs 3,500 precisely interlocking steps for that. Some historians believe Chand Baori was never just infrastructure, that it doubled as a temple complex and communal gathering space, where the descent toward water symbolized a spiritual descent toward clarity. On one side of the well, unlike the other 3, there are no steps at all. Instead, a multi-story pavilion carved with niches and sculpture, once home to a shrine dedicated to Harshat Mata, the goddess of joy. There's also a very practical secret hidden in the design. The temperature at the bottom of the well runs 5 to 6 degrees Celsius cooler than the surface. In a region where summer temperatures regularly cross 45 degrees, that made Chand Baori a natural air conditioning system, a place where people came not just for water, but simply to escape the heat. And after more than 1,000 years, cut into soft limestone, exposed to monsoon flooding every single year, there isn't a single major structural crack in the entire well. 6 structures, 6 continents apart in spirit, thousands of years apart in age. A temple built before agriculture existed. Stones heavier than jumbo jets, moved with no explained method. A temple carved downward out of a mountain with zero room for error. A pyramid so precise it still humbles modern surveyors. A concrete dome that heals its own cracks. And a stairwell to water so beautiful, it became a place of worship. None of these civilizations copied each other. None of these techniques survived intact into the modern era. Each one was discovered, perfected, and then lost, sometimes for over 1,000 years. So here's the question we started with. What did they know that we've had to rediscover with electron microscopes and satellite surveys? Tell me in the comments which one of these 6 structures you'd want to stand in front of yourself. And if this kind of history fascinates you, subscribe, because there are at least a dozen more structures like this we haven't covered yet.